I want to modify the database, in that time I'm going to use DML, that is nothing but data manipulation language. Data control language commands are used to grant the permission as well as to take back the permission. Rollback command is used to undo transactions that have not already been saved to the database. Hello to all, a warm welcome to my new session on Fundamentals of Computers, and the chapter name here is Introduction to SQL. I am Revati from the Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. So dear student, let's revise the topic which we learned in my last session. So dear student, in my last session, we learned what is SQL. That is nothing but the structured query language. Along with that, we learned SQL data types. That is nothing but numeric, date and time, as well as character, text, etc. Along with that, we discussed the types of SQL commands. In that, we discussed DDL. So what is this DDL? Data definition language. Under this language, we discussed commands like create, alter, drop, and truncate. These are the commands we discussed in my last session. Now, in my today's session, at the beginning, I'm going to deal with data definition language. Along with that, I'm going to deal with data control language. Along with that, I'm going to deal transaction control language, and the last topic in my today's session is data query language. These are the topic I'm going to deal in my today's session. So dear student, at the beginning I'm going to have data manipulation language, that is nothing but DML. So DML commands is mainly used to modify the database. When I want to modify the database, in that time I'm going to use DML, that is nothing but data manipulation language, and it is responsible for all form of changes in the database. That means by using DML, I can able to do all kind of changes in my database. So the commands of DML is not auto committed. If I consider DDL, it is responsible for saving the content automatically and permanently. But if I go with DML, it is not auto committed. That means the contents are not automatically stored permanently. That means it cannot permanently save all the changes. So it's not possible to permanently save all the changes in database by using DML. And some of the commands comes under DML are insert command, update command, as well as delete command. Anyway, dear student, let's see the uses of these commands one by one. So at the beginning, I'm going to have insert command. So why I required insert command? Suppose if I want to enter any data to the database, in that time I'm going to use insert command. So dear student, the insert statement is a SQL query. So here insert statement is also known as SQL query, and it is mainly used to insert the data into the rows. So it is mainly used to insert or feed the data into the rows. Now the syntax here is insert, and I want to use into table name along with I can have column heading 1, column heading 2, column heading 3, up to column heading n values. So I'm going to use the word values and I'm going to specify the values. That is value 1, value 2, value 3 up to value n. So this is the one way. And another way I can able to insert command here is insert into table name, and I want to use the word values and I'm going to insert the values directly. So dear student, I can able to use insert command in two ways. With the column heading along with the value, I can able to use insert command, or directly I can able to insert the value, and both the ways are valid. It's left to the user, okay? It left to the user that he or she can use any one method or any one type. Now, I'm going to have the example, that is, first I want to write the command insert and into, and I want to write the table name. And here I have mentioned column name, that is author and subject, and I'm going to write the value, and I'm going to insert the value, that is author name as well as subject name. Now another way also I can able to use insert command, that is insert into, I will take FOC, then I'm going to use the word values, open the brace. So dear student, listen here. Author is nothing but the author name, that is nothing but variable character. So I'm going to write inside the double quote, for example, say Revati. Okay, then subject name, for example, think that C programming. So once again it is character, so I'm going to write within the double quote. So I can able to use insert command in two ways. One is this one, or even I can able to consider this example also, and both are valid one. Moving further, I'm going to have my second type, that is second command, update command. So update means what? This command is used to update or modify the value of a column in the table. So here it's mainly used to modify or update the columns in the table. And how I can able to use update command? Update, specify the table name, then set. I want to use the word set, specify the column name equal to value. That means I can able to set the column name, not only one column name. I can able to have n column name. For that I can able to assign the value. And for particular record, I'm going to use where condition. That means while updating columns for particular record, I want to specify the particular record ID, and where I'm going to specify in my where condition or in my where clause. So example, update, think that students is nothing but table name set. Okay, I want to use the field called, that means I want to set the field called username, and I'm going to assign the username, and where student ID equal to 3. That means I want to modify the username Sono and where based on the student ID. Now I'm going to modify the student name of the student ID 3. Now I'm going to have delete. So what is this delete? It is used to remove one or more rows. Drop means what? I'm going to drop the table. But if I want to delete particular row, then I can go with delete command. So syntax: delete from table name. Even I can able to specify the condition. There is nothing but where clause. So here delete from, specify the table name, that is FOC, where which row I want to delete, that is author name is Sono. I want to delete this particular row. For that reason, I'm going to specify the information, that is author equal to Sono, and I just want to delete this record from the table FOC. So dear student, followed by I'm going to have another type, that is data control language. So why I required data control language? I just want to control the user. That means I cannot allow all the user to access the database, because some user may misuse the database. Now I want to provide the authority to the user. For that, I'm going to have data control language. So here data control language or data control language commands are used to grant the permission as well as to take back the permission from any database user. Example, I have grant command as well as revoke command. Moving further, let's see what is grant command. So it is mainly used to give user privilege to a database. That means when I want to give the privileges to the user, that means which user can able to access which database. For that, I can able to use grant command. So grant select update. So user can able to select as well as update on table name, that is my table, to some user and another user. So I'm going to allow the user to access the database as well as select the database as well as set the database by using grant command. And what is revoke? It is used to take the privilege or permission back. Suppose if I want to take any privilege or if I want to take any permission back, then I can able to use revoke. So it is used to take back permission from the user. So I'm going to write revoke. Okay, that means I'm going to take back the permission, that is select update on table, that is my table, from user 1 and user 2. That means I'm going to take the permission back from the user. For that, I'm going to have revoke. To give the permission, I'm going to have grant command. Moving further, I'm going to have transaction control language. So what is transaction control language? That means I want to control all the transaction which is going to happen in the database. So here transaction control commands can only use with DML, that is data manipulation language commands, like insert, delete and update. That means I can able to use transaction control languages with data manipulation language. These operations are automatically committed. That means once the transaction is over and all the changes are permanently stored in the database. So it is automatically committed in the database. That's why they cannot be used while creating database or while dropping them. That means I cannot able to use transaction control commands during creating a table or deleting a table. And I'm going to have commit command and I'm going to have rollback. So these are the two commands comes under TCL. Let's see what is commit command. Suppose if I want to save the transaction, then I can go with commit command. So commit command used to save all the transaction to the database. So whatever the transaction I did, I want to save that. For that, I'm going to use commit command. So I'm going to write commit and semicolon. That means I'm going to save the transaction in database. So dear student, let's consider the example here. Think that I want to delete some row from the database. I want to delete some row from the database. After deleting, I just want to save the database. So here, delete from customers and I want to delete the row and age here is 25. So the row which contains age information, that is 25, I just want to delete that row. After deleting, I want to save the table or I want to save the database. For that, I'm going to use commit. That means after performing any transaction, suppose if I want to save the changes in the database, for that I'm going to use commit command. Moving further, I'm going to have rollback. So what is this rollback? Rollback command is used to undo the transaction. Once the transaction is over, but if I want to undo the transaction, then I can go with rollback. If I consider previous example that I'm going to delete the row where age is 25. Now, if I want to get same record or same row in my table, then I can use rollback. So here, rollback command is used to undo transactions that have not already been saved to the database. So it is mainly used to undo the transaction. So here I'm going to use rollback. For example, delete from customers where age equal to 25. That means I'm going to delete the row and row information is 25. After deleting that record, suppose if I want to get same record in my database, what I want to do, I just want to use the command rollback. Now, the last type here is data query language. So here data query language is mainly used to get the response or to fetch the data from the database. Suppose if I want to get the response or if I want to fetch any data from the database, I'm going to use select. For example, select star from, I want to specify the database name, that is FOC. Even I can able to use select star from student. This is the way I can able to use select command. Now, select. This is the same as the projection operation of relational algebra. That means it is mainly used to project. That means it is mainly used to get the information from the table or database, and it is used to select the attributes based on the condition. It is mainly used to select the attributes based on the condition. That means I can able to use select command in two ways. Without where clause, also I can able to use select command. Even with the help of where clause, I can able to use select command. Now, select, I'm going to write the expression from table. I want to specify the table name where I'm going to write the condition. Now, I'm going to select only employee name. That means I'm going to specify the attribute. That means I required only employee name. From where? From the table called employee. And which employee name I required? Whose age is greater than 20. I just want to display the employee name whose age is greater than 20. For that, I'm going to use select statement in my SQL command. So this is the way I can able to use SQL commands in database management system. Anyway, dear student, in my today's session, I discussed what is DML, what is TCL, along with that, what is DQL. So all those things are very, very important in the examination point of view. Anyway, dear student, let's meet in the next session with the new chapter called Internet Basis. Until that, keep watching and keep learning. Thank you.